Ha! Hello, my friends! Good morning. It's I, Alphinius Goo, here at Gooey headquarters, with Camera Mandy behind the camera, wearing another hat. Yes, this one a very special one. She's shown it before, but it looks good. It's a good look, Camera Mandy.
Thank you. This is going to be, because I get a third portrait in Geisengax for the Hatmancer class.
Yes, the Hatmancer coming.
Yes.
Coming in Geisengax.
So my level for the Hatmancer allows for 3 special hats. And so this is going to be my third one. And so, however, the second hat, the wizard's hat, is very special. And it's going to be part of NSREs and stuff like that in Darkenhaven.
So I just wonder, though, Camera Mandy, if there's a Hatmancer, could there be a Pantsmancer?
I mean, potentially. If
I mean,
wants
you know,
to
and a shirt-mancer and an underwear-mancer.
Okay, here's the deal. But before we get into any of that, I have got to understand what is happening here. Okay, so literally, so here's I just want to set the stage. Alphinius walks into the studio like 2 minutes ago, and this is what
I was a little late.
This is what I see. What is happening with these pants? And excuse the mess that is the studio, but genuinely, so I snapped this picture and laughed my butt off, and I just need to know what is happening here. What is going on?
All right. So listen. So here's the deal.
Okay.
When we were in California, we were going to go out for just a couple of days, and of course, it ended up being almost 3 weeks where we were out there with Grandpa Dave, who we affectionately call Grandpa Goo, and I needed some clothes, so we went to I have to shop at the Big and Tall place, because I'm both big and tall. So
I'm sorry. Like,
okay,
was
listen,
was it a vintage place? Like, with 60s
No, do you want me to finish? I'm going to finish.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
Keep going.
So I happened to see these pants, right? And now you remember, and I know you know this, Camera Mandy, Grandpa Dave was a punner. He made lots of puns. He was very jovial. He was jovial right to the end, which is what's wonderful, right? To remember his laugh and his smile even there at this final days. And I've kind of moved a little bit past the grief as much, and it's not so sharp. And now I get smiles. You know how that goes. You get smiles and you remember these wonderful times that you had with him. And of course, he and my dad, who also has passed, loved each other very much, played golf together all the time, did a lot of fun things together. Anyway, so how does this relate to the pants? So I saw these pants and I thought, Grandpa Dave, Grandpa Goo, would laugh at these pants and make puns and jokes about these pants. And so I bought them. In fact, I bought 2 pairs because I want to, every time I put on these pants, have some core memories about wonderful Grandpa Goo. Ha! That's why I bought them.
Okay, well.
And they are marvelous.
It is very legit.
Okay, chat. Let's just talk about it, chat. I know there's going to be mixed opinions.
But listen.
Because hold on, Camera Mandy.
Go.
I have heard many people now say, dude, I love your pants. And I have heard many people now say, what the hell are you wearing? So this is definitely a mixed bag. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know what the chat thinks.
Okay, I think that after the story, everyone is going to say that is very sweet.
No, it's a sweet story, but you can still hate the pants. It's okay. Grandpa Goo would have been all over the pants.
I do think that these kind of pants are what would lead to a Pantsmancer class. So if you were trying to not have a Pantsmancer, but yeah, people in the chat say rock the pants, love the pants, own the pants, wear what you want. I agree. I'm not sure though that you should pair the pants with your Alphinius shirt.
Well, aren't we? We're going to redo. So chat.
I know we have
all
got
my
to
friends
redo.
out there. Camera Mandy wants me to redo the wardrobe.
Oh God! Well,
she wants me to be a little more wild.
No, I did not say that.
Yes, Camera Mandy.
Okay, well, you can do whatever you want with the.
So what if I wore these pants with the boots and did a different shirt, and a vest, and a very cool vest? I mean, there's a lot could be going on if you think about it. There's a lot of options. We'll have to think about this.
I don't know that these are Alphinius Goo pants.
I don't know that the chat.
I think
cares
they're more
about
like.
Any of this right
I think
now.
they're more like Alfabio pants.
Oh, they're definitely Alfabio pants.
Okay, listen. We have a great show for you today that doesn't involve pants at all.
Or Pantsmancers.
Yes, we have.
That's kind of an alliteration thing going on there with Pantsmancers. Pantsmans, right? So yeah, it's got a little bit of that going on.
Anyway, Todd is in the background. We're about to bring him on. We are going to go into tables built for the Underdelve or the Underdark.
No, I am going to speak to the Underdelve.
Yes.
Because if you come on this, with us, there is no Underdark. There is an Underdelve, right? So this is called the Zion Doom. right? All right, my friends. So just so we paint the picture a little bit, the Zyathé is the Underdelve. Yes, it is the dark places of the world, the deeping places of the world. But it is probably different from that which you might have thought in other places, because there is actually much light there, because there are these things called glow crystals that glow in the depths. But even more than that, there are the magnificent Illumiines,
You know what?
which are what do you want? What?
I will pull some pictures.
Oh, you should.
But
Oh yes.
let's bring
I
Todd
got to
on.
pull this down because it's showing my undershirt.
It's fine. The Underdark, the Underdelve, the Undershirt.
The undershirt. Yes. Hold on, cameraman. I'll just pull it apart. For this.
Yeah. let's
Okay.
just
So
make
now
it-
we have the Underdelve, the Underdark, and the Undershirt.
I can tell you whatever new outfit that we have, you will not be able to see the undershirt.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least it's not my little belly button that
I
was
know.
showing that one time. Sorry.
Yeah, that-
Actually, it's not really a little.
just
belly
that one
button.
time. Yeah, sure. Okay, listen. Let's bring on Todd. You guys can chat
And you're
about
gonna grab
all
some
of it.
pictures. And
I
all
will
of-
grab some pictures.
But let me
that way-
before we bring on Todd, I want to introduce him. Okay, I mean we can introduce him when he comes on, but I just want to tell you. So we have done our best to really make the Underdelve, and this is a project for 2025. I promise you, it's coming. The Underdelve of West Verdestia and East Verdestia, which is what will be our next thing that delves into the Underdelve as we move to Sundestia as well, which will be very exciting. But the Underdelve is a very vibrant place, and we have done our best to really make it have an ecology as we've been thinking it through and looking at it and understanding how does everything work together, how do all these creatures that live down there actually survive and eat and all of that kind of stuff. So what is the food chain and all of that? Because as you know, in world building, we believe philosophically that fantastical realism helps immersion, right? And so that is why we think so hard about sort of these kinds of things. And the Illumiines are actually very important in the ecology of the Underdelve. So that, of course, and luminous fungi, luminous mosses and lichens, and other things like that, which bring all this vibrancy and light to the dark depths. And of course, there's an upper Zyathé, and there is a middle Zyathé, and there is a deeping Zyathé. And we are very, very excited to explore each one of those because they have different aspects based on each circumstance and wherever you are and all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, yes, let us bring on Marvelous Todd. So while you're bringing him on, I'm going to talk about him. So Todd is this crazy guy, and some of you have already know him well, and some of you may not know him at all because this might be the first time you're ever watching us. But Todd did this little thing just for the heck of it. He started a Facebook group, which was not originally called it, but it's called it now Creative Adventure Tables. He started a Facebook group, and it's now called Creative Adventure Tables. So Todd makes this marvelous group and starts putting up these wonderful builds because he is a crazy terrain person like I am. And I also want to talk to you today, Todd and I are both going to talk to you today about that you don't have to, have a ton of money to be able to actually have good terrain. And we're going to talk about how you could do that and how that might work. But also we're going to talk about this wonderful Zyathé. Anyway, there's Todd. Hi, Todd.
Hello.
So anyway, so he starts this little group, right? And he starts putting up pictures, and other people start putting up pictures, right, Todd? That's kind of what happened, right? People started putting up pictures. And then the next thing you know, he has 50,000 people in Creative Adventure Tables.
45,000.
45,000. I'm rounding up. It
It's
doesn't matter.
change.
Yeah. Let's not.
Right.
Let's just let get carried away with the quibbling.
I think we lost 5,000 when they saw your pants.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
they're out.
I felt the marvelous disturbance in the force, and 5,000 souls screamed out and
In
were
agony.
suddenly silent when they failed their save. That was just my perception, but I
Could
be
be.
off.
Anyway, so Todd has been a guest with us. Todd and Paul and others are like me, like terrain freaks, and Paul has been on the show as well. We'll get him back one of these days. But we had this conversation with Todd, and we wanted to do a little discussion about this Zyathé, which is now Todd didn't build it for Zyathé. All of these are builds he's done over the years, but it's really, really exciting. And we want to talk about how you can make this stuff and how you can have terrain without it costing you, an arm and a leg. You can invest a little in Dwarven Forge kind of things and then augment it with others and all kinds of things. So, Todd, I'm going to let you take it away, sir. And Cameraman has lots of pictures, as I understand. Oh, and don't forget, hold on, the undershirt. Yes. If we need to speak about that, we can speak about the
Oh
undershirt.
my goodness, Alphinius. This is for anyone joining us. This is
Listen,
called
it's
a
not as bad as
low-budget
Lawrence's
production
armpit hair. My God.
that you decided to highlight.
Camera Mandy,
But you
he
know
took
what?
a selfie and his
Here's the
armpit
deal.
hair was hanging out.
I'm just gonna say this. I am pro people having whatever bodily hair that they want. So just saying,
not.
if you
Or
yeah,
not.
or not, exactly. So
I felt discriminated against. I want you to know that.
I just wanted a little bit of personal grooming, Camera Mandy. I'm not complaining that much. I mean, it was kind of.
I think we are. I think just
I wasn't sure if it was
pro you do
Lawrence or the
you.
Italian woman waving goodbye. I didn't know who it was.
Anyway, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, go to the Gooey Den. You'll see the pictures.
Okay. Anyway, poor Todd. Poor Todd gets dragged on here every month, and then we totally derail his perfectly wonderful conversation with things like armpit hair, and I'm sure there was something last time.
Whatever, Camera Mandy.
Okay, let's talk.
I hope the chat is enjoying this.
We had like a level 2 hype train
Oh,
going, so
we
couldn't
get
have
a
been
lot of
that
hype
bad.
trains, Todd.
Okay.
Who knew those pants and underarm hair could make a level 2 hype train? That's probably an internet first. Just so you know.
So just real quick though, Todd, also we're going to announce the winners today, yes? Of the
Absolutely.
Guys and Gaks Build a Room contest as well. So we're excited to do
Yes.
that. Wow, look at that.
Build a room for the tomb. So this one right here, again, in the Underdelve, the Underdark, which specifically, this is basically sort of like outdoor caverns. The Underdelve has all kinds of different terrain, just like the Upper World does, but there's certain commonalities usually, not all the time, and the theme for that is like a dark gray, purplish type colors is what comes in most people's minds if you look through a lot of artwork and stuff that has been done throughout the history of Dungeons and Dragons. There's normally like it's obviously there's no light down there, so everything's dark and whatnot. And so that battle mat, I want to say I got it from Deep Cut Studios. It might have been something else. But anyways, it's called The Realm of Death is literally the name of the battle mat. If you do a search for that, and it's beautiful. It's black and grays, and it's got little bits of purple hues and stuff in it. So it's the perfect backdrop to put the rest of your terrain on.
Yeah, this is a magnificent build, Todd. I just want to tell you, and honestly, this is kind of goes to the topic that I want you to talk a little bit about, is how do you use negative space, right? And other things like
Absolutely.
that. So you don't have to have a table that costs you thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Go ahead, keep going. This is fantastic. Beautiful work.
Absolutely. So one of the main things about terrain that people they want to fill the whole table with it, just like you were talking about. The problem is with that, if you do that, then there's no room to play, depending on the type of terrain. And so you want to have enough open areas that there's room to play, but you also want to have enough really interesting stuff on the board that makes them want to play. And so I tried to have on this particular board a mixture of both. And what I took there, a number of different things. I have a number of different tile sets. I've got XPS foam, just handcrafted XPS foam.
Explain what that is. Explain what that is.
So
Because
XPS
some
foam,
people might not know.
Sure. So for people that don't have a lot of money or are very crafty or just enjoy creating stuff, you can get XPS foam either online or things like that. It's very cheap. It's the cheapest crafting material you can get. And then you just basically carve it up and then you paint it up. And so I had it painted up in a dark gray color with like veins of a muted purple and reddish and blues going through it basically.
And
so it just gave
Todd,
it like little highlights.
Todd, let me interrupt for a second, because XPS foam, you basically use hobby knives and the rasps, right, to kind of clean them up, and then you can make the veins with just an X-Acto blade, right? You go in, right?
Correct.
Then you prime them, and then you put a gray paint on the top of it. Then you can do a wash of red or whatever you want, right? And then you do a little dry brush, and you're done.
Correct. So now the advantage of that is the cool thing about Underdelve stuff is a lot of times it actually has a dual purpose, because a lot of times with the right battle mat on underneath it, you could also get away with it for being volcanic type stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's a multi-purpose terrain that a lot of people don't think of when it's not exact, but it's close enough that your players are going to go for it, no problem. But this one is a mixture. Like you can see in the lower left corner, some of those rocks, those are from Monster Fight Club. Most of the other stuff down the center is some Whiz Kids caverns, but have been totally repainted. None of it comes in those colors. I just had them repainted, and if I can do this in my camera or not. This one here is just, and I think my lighting isn't going to be good enough, so I apologize for that. But that's kind of basically how it's painted up. So that this one's mostly just black and like a dark purple, grayish color, and
yes.
the details come out to it, and you can use that all over the place, right?
You can use it above ground. You can. I mean, and the thing is, for anybody, I just want you to tell you, I am really not artistic, okay, and I don't have really good hands for painting and all of that stuff. But if you watch a couple of videos on the internet about how to use washes, at dry brushing, you can paint magnificently. And I can show you one of these days, I'll show you a couple of the things that I've painted in the past, Todd, and you'll go like, gosh, you're a really good painter. And I'm going to tell you all, it's just a trick, right? It's just from learning from the videos. So I can see, you see how that little detail, all that is highlighting on the one you showed, you can see it on these rocks. It's just highlighting, above the shadowy areas, and that gives you this wonderful look. Gosh, that's beautiful, Todd. Tell us about this.
Thanks. That's the same thing, just zeroed in on it. And I've said this before, the two main things that you can do to make your table pop is either elevation or LEDs. Those two things, any light emitting diodes, anything light like that always draws people, and elevation always draws players into your map. This one has both of it on it. It's a natural temple, so to speak, but then it's also the LEDs are double their value against the dark colored terrain in the Underdelve. They really stand out well. So it's a fantastic combination, basically, of those the elevation and the LED. And then the other thing that you can use, you see those plants that are there?
Yes.
The two plants down on the bottom? Those are just simple aquarium plants. Literally, I went to Amazon and I looked for glow-in-the-dark plants. And then I put a black LED light on it, a 30-watt LED black light, and it causes them to glow like they're bioluminescent. So, and just never point it at the eyes of your players, obviously. Okay, don't blind your players. So, but be careful with that. But it will really draw you into it. Between the darkness of the table itself means you don't have to turn the lights out to get the same feel. You'll be able to look at it. Your lights are still on and stuff, but all that's going to pop, and it's really going to bring it to life. So that's just an underground or an Underdelve natural temple. So I want to like the creatures that are in that area. The more primitive type creatures have created some kind of an altar or a temple to go pray at. And of course, I've got some kind of a dark. This one's blue, but I've got purple ones also for crystals that you can again get on Amazon or any place like that. That I just put in the center. That of course could have any kind of magical powers you want. Same thing with the bioluminescent plants, right? They could give off spores. They could shriek. They could be man-eating plants. Right, they could summon other creatures, like they could summon flies or whatever it is to creatures to.
They could even sing songs. Yes, they could even sing songs. Hold on 1 second, Todd. We got camera Mandy trying to bust in.
Sorry, I just want to make sure to highlight these comments from Ray the Game Master.
Yes, please.
I don't know what he's specifically talking about, but something about cutting and melting stuff can create toxic fumes.
Oh yes, the foam. You don't want to use heat on some of these foams. Okay, this you want to be careful with many things that you might use heat on, because you're exactly right, Ray. Because you can get toxicity and hurt yourself, and so you got to be a little careful. Again, don't just dive into this. There's so much wealth of resources on the internet that you can look and have people show you the correct techniques for this modeling and all of this stuff. It's there. And let's pause for a moment, Todd, because I do want to talk for a moment for everyone that's out there that's thinking, oh gosh, I could never afford all this terrain. So first and foremost, everyone, I want you to know this. There are a lot of places now that have collaborative printing groups where a bunch of people have gotten together who own printers, and they actually print for other people at much less cost than if you were to buy printed miniatures from someplace on the internet, right? Todd, you know about these things, yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's no reason if you see a type of terrain that you like, but you can't afford to get it, you'd rather make a car payment or something. There's no reason that with a little effort, you couldn't actually craft that out of XPS foam yourself.
It's true.
And paint it up. And you know what? It might take you a couple of tries. A couple of tries is going to literally cost you $3, $5. You know what I mean? I mean, you can fail many, many times and still get away dirt cheap with doing this stuff. So like the stuff in here that's from Monster Fight Club or WizKids or Dwarven Forge, you can look at that and go, you know what? All I need is a picture of that model and give me some XPS foam, and you can start carving yourself, or you can find 3D models that you can print, or collaborative printers. There's so many different ways in order to get the stuff. And in fact, that's what my Facebook group is about all the different ways that you can create and have terrain on your table. It's not just 3D printing. It's not just buying. It's not any one specific way, any specific manufacturer. The group gives you all the different ways that people do it, because what really matters is how are you going to be able to tell your story, and whatever way works best for you, that's what you should do.
I have a great comment from DM Chris. My wife makes stuff out of the boxes and containers that we would normally throw away.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. Cardboard. There's all kinds. I've seen incredible dungeons made out of cardboard and packing chips and all kinds of stuff. People can do some incredible things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And you can even take putty. You can, if you're really crafty, right, you can take putties and you can actually make walls and you can make floors, either using flat plastics or pieces of cardboard in other things. Mm-hmm. I mean, so all of it now, and again, this is all part of the hobby, and some people don't have interest in that, right? And again, we're not throwing shade. We don't want anybody out there to think if they just like, a battle mat and little chits for monsters mm-hmm. and players, and it's all theater of the mind. Totally good. Absolutely. However, Todd and I, we have this Dwarven Forge blood. It's just got into our system. So
I will note, though, we discovered something on our little grid, on the Chessex grid. You got to be careful what markers you're using, because dry erase is not necessarily. We on our game on Wednesday, we destroyed the Chessex board using a dry erase marker. So just make sure when you're using those that you check what actual markers are good to use.
Yes, because there's certain dry erase
wet erase
that
markers
don't. Yeah, that don't
is
work.
what you're supposed to use on a Chessex board. So anyway.
Yes.
Sorry. Side note.
So where are the arches? Where did you get those? Those are really magnificent.
Those are actually from WizKids from their cavern set.
Yes.
And they've got a number. And I was like, you know what? Those would be perfect. You paint them up, and they've got the little stalagmites coming down and stuff. So it makes like 4 entryways or whatever. Just putting them in that configuration gives it. What I was trying to go for was the Underdelve's version of Stonehenge.
Yes, very
is basically good. What I was the inspiration that I was using for this thing. Not exact, of course. I was like, I'll put it up on its own little mound, and it's hard to see from that picture, but you can see at the very bottom that it's actually up on a thing, so you could go underneath. And I take the top off, and there's stuff happening underneath.
I could see the little cave. It was in my mind.
Yeah, little cave in there. Yep.
I'm going to show a couple pictures from our Underdelve.
Oh, this was fun.
And then we'll go back to Todd's.
So in the world of Zyathé, kind of like what you are inspired by, we don't just have glowing crystals, although this gives you an idea. We also have these wonderful illumines, which you can see here is actually a forest. And these are crystalline structures. They are stone. They have a stony substance that goes. Just stay back with that one for just a second, Camera Mindy. So they have a stony substance that is underneath, which sort of serves as the trunk, if you want to call it the trunk, and then they sprout these beautiful glowing crystals. Okay, and these glowing crystals have an effect of enabling a lot more growth of plant life, Underdelvian plant life, which of course gives rise to greater life in the Underdelve if you think about the ecological system, right? So having more plant life, having more of that kind of stuff, which lets herbivores be able to consume it, allows then carnivores to come. And also, of course, it is magnificent. So someday, here's my great hope. My great hope, Todd, is that I'm going to be able to convince Stefan and Nate and the marvelous people at Dwarven Forge to sculpt some Illumines and have them be LED lighted.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Well, they do it right, that's for sure.
They definitely do. I would love that.
Alphinius Goo's master plan
No, I have a master
unleashed.
plan. Yeah, that's really yes, because this is Strong on McGillen's very famous place and quite a famed Illumine in the courtyard. One of the rarer versions. So
I got some tips from the chat really quickly.
let's go. Todd, we're gonna get some tips from the chat and then we'll jump back to some of your stuff.
Okay. Walmart pet fish area has so much good terrain stuff.
They really do, y'all. And it's not that expensive comparatively to some things you might spend on other terrains. Now, keep going.
Sometimes buying actual marble or crystals can be cheaper than buying, what is it, facsimiles,
yes.
Plastic minerals. That's from Paul.
That's absolutely true.
Remember, weak materials can be built up with resins, glues, clear, sealants, etc. So you can use tissues and still make them durable. That's interesting. So like basically painting tissues and then reinforcing them.
Yeah, reinforcing them
to give them structure. Okay, why don't you guys keep going and I'll keep looking for.
Yes, tell us about this one, Todd. And is that a ghostly beholder there? Is that what that is?
So right. So one of the things, the LED, the black LED light, it also has a glowing effect on translucent minis. There's minis that WizKids prints up, or anyone that prints up, that they're see-through basically, right? They're clear, you can see through. But when you put a black light on it, they glow with this bluish type color. So there's if you're scared of the beholder, imagine how scared you are then of an irradiated beholder. Right? That's got, the rads are going through the roof. It's a combination of Fallout 4, But so I just put that's something that you can do, is to add more excitement to your adventures. Is when you put that on there, you can now have. It could be, and you could use it for any person. Like if you think back in the Star Wars movies, you see Obi-Wan after he died, he comes in this glowing blue ghostly form, right? You can have those same type minis and bring them in and put that on like that, and boom, your ghosts are glowing, right? There's so many different uses that you can have for it. And this whole thing right here, it's a battle mat, and everything on there is just XPS foam and aquarium plants. That's that entire set right there.
Yes, so
XPS
basically that's
foam,
what's giving you all those wonderful flat surfaces that you can build up from, yes?
Yeah. So from the chat, people are recommending egg cartons as like a cheap material.
Yes.
And also you can cut glue sticks to make crystals. So
I didn't know that. Ooh. Of course you can.
Yeah. And then you could use the glue later. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
No, because that would just. Well, I guess you could use the cut pieces.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep. Sorry, we gotta run a little bit faster because it's already 10:30, guys.
Well, sorry.
Chat,
you enjoying this? Yeah. Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one here, kind of a throwback to the picture that you had shown earlier there with those plants being bioluminescent. It has that same reminiscent feel of the artistic rendering that you had of your crystals. Yes. The glowing crystals and stuff. It's that same exact concept, where if you just put a few of them strategically placed around, this is a troll cave basically in the Underdelve that the players were going through in that particular session, that they had to contend with them wanting to get across the river, and the trolls were of course there guarding it and extorting everyone for everything they could take. And but you just give it, so it's in this particular one, it's a very common theme, but it has a very different feel to it when you put it in the Underdelve, right? When all the darkness and the bioluminescent and stuff. And of course, you can change it strategically if those plants, if you decide that they have some kind of magical effect, whatever it might be.
Wow.
So this one here is a Dwarven Forge build. This I tried to do basically the wildlands in the Underdelve itself. But like if you're just traveling over a large space of area, you're going to have all kinds of terrain. So I've got a river going across. I've got multi-levels going up and down. There's tunnels for going under, huge stalagmites and stalactites that go from floor to ceiling. It was just, I was trying to do, if I did an entire table of almost purely Dwarven Forge, with the exception of the columns there, the stalagmites and stalagmites, those are 3D prints. But all the rest of it is Dwarven Forge and my 3D printed Todd tiles for elevation. That's just an example. And again, you can put a river through the center of it, whatever you want to do. And because the Underdelve is such a huge place, there's all kinds of experiences that you can have put in there. You can even see in the upper left-hand corner, if you look closely, I've got a little purplish LED portal for teleporting into.
I've seen
You
it.
can see it next to the. So, and it's just keep a general theme. Keep to your grays and your purples and blues and muted reds, and you're going to sell it very easily. It's a setting that looks magnificent when you've got it set up, but it actually doesn't take that much color variation to get you there. So.
I think it just comes down to the pops of color. It really does.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's all of these are really stunning.
So in this one here, I tried to add some more elevation where you're fighting above and below, where the stalagmites go up, and then there's tiers of almost like islands above the floor of the Underdelve itself. And I've got like a toxic river that's going through it and some toxic pools. And if you look in the corner, off to the right a little bit, you can just see the arches of a giant purple worm that's in there, which is a lot of incentive to stay in the upper areas. So, and of course, there's things happening on the upper areas, and then the threat becomes not getting pushed off the side, right, or being falling off or anything like that, because that becomes a whole scramble unto itself. So building stuff that way, it just adds, and it might be a little bit harder in everyday life, so to speak, to see something, but in the Underdelve, you can imagine this type of terrain exists where there's there's canyons above and below. And it's a three-dimensional maze, essentially, was what I was going for something like that. And again, this is XPS foam and some Monster Fight Club and a little bit of Dwarven Forge thrown in, and that Realms of Death battle mat.
Yeah, all the big flat pieces are XPS. Yeah, right.
Yes.
The large, because that gives you these platforms that you can then work with to build upon. Right.
Yep. And again, that's the cheapest of everything. That's the easiest. And if I wasn't using them this way, you could stack them one on top of each other in order to create ridges
Spires,
and stuff.
Towers. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Magnificent.
And I think this is the last one that I did for the show here. And this was my attempt to create a Temple of Lolth in the Underdark. So it's almost all Dwarven Forge, with the exception, of course, you've got you got the LED lights in there. Those are Dwarven Forge, and then your bioluminescent plants. You can see the black light in the upper left hand corner, the 30-watt black light. The purplish thing in the upper left-hand corner.
So is it kind of a spotlight, or is it just?
It's basically a spotlight. It's a 30-watt LED light, but it's a black light, so it projects it, and then anything that's reactive to that is going to make all the plants glow.
And it's it stands up. It stands up on that stand.
Correct.
Very cool.
Right, which of course, and there's a thing that you can angle it for whichever you want, and they have different sizes, and they've got 10 watts and 20 watts and higher. Personally, I found 30 watts seems to do about the best. So for my table size, but I was just this in here. It's all Dwarven Forge otherwise, and it's just my attempt to go, what would a temple look like in the Underdark? And then I'm in the picture literally just to give you some idea what the scale is, so you can have some idea. So, or there's a bald giant in the Underdelve. You can
really big giant, very huge,
really big. He's not painted very well.
Needs a little more color in his cheeks.
I think so. And he looks untrustworthy too, though.
So, Cameramendi, Todd, are we going to announce the winners?
We will. But
we are going to do one last one. We always like to do a community spotlight from Creative Adventure Tables. So this is just one example of one of the tables that people submitted, showing their pictures online. I think it's D is his first name. D Warvenhall. I want to make sure I get it right. So he puts stuff through all the time, and but people submit stuff all the time, from very beginning stuff to very advanced. Like this is a huge Dwarven Forge build that he ran for his table, and you can see how exotic you can put stuff together. Different types of tile sets from Dwarven Forge. I will for sure. Nobody has more tile sets than Dwarven Forge as far as variety is concerned from one particular manufacturer. They've got caverns, they've got regular dungeons, if you will. They've got ice stuff. They've got so many different things that you can put together indoor, outdoor. And I just wanted to spotlight one of the people, what Dee did. Did a fantastic job putting that together. And that's an actual game that he ran that his players, you can just tell by looking at it, they must have had an absolute blast going through that adventure.
Stunning build. Wonderful. Really, really wonderful.
Okay, so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. Any final thoughts on the Underdelve? No, okay. We're going to go to the Guys and Gax Build a Room contest.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so these are not in order. So, sorry. I'm just going to show all 8
Let's
entries.
just do Todd, can you do like a 20, 30-second quick little cover on each one of these so that folks kind of know what this is? Because this is the hourglass one where it turns over, yeah?
Sure, it's the hourglass one, and basically there's treasure and stuff that you can see in the sand in there, and there's walkways that you can go around. So this is one of those rooms that you can bypass if you wanted to, but the question is, well, the treasure's right there. And so it's a trap. There's a problem, but the question becomes the greed factor, right? And as you don't see any monsters, but the more time that you spend in there, all of a sudden you have to start making higher and higher con saves. And it's constantly draining, kind of like an hourglass, right? So the whole idea is, can you grab that treasure and get back out and get something quote unquote for free? But if you start failing those saves, what happens? And of course, you find out the hard way is if you end up failing the save, you turn into the sand itself. And when you realize that all the sand around you is other adventurers that we're trying to, there's a bit of an ick factor that makes, do I want to get out of this, and how bad do I need a shower?
I need a bath. Yes, I need a bath.
So it's a brilliant movie.
Sorry.
It's a brilliant design, I thought.
It really is. Wonderful, wonderful story.
So this is from Stephen Rumor.
Stephen Rumor. Yeah,
okay.
Very good.
Sorry, we don't have any of the names attached to these because we were trying to judge it blind.
We did blind judging, so.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So
Todd.
this one, he's got a great room where there's some multi things going across. He's got some elevation, which I always love. And there's a thing you've got to jump across in order to get there. And he's got a froghemoth.
Yes.
So failing to jump across or potentially getting grabbed by one of its tentacles is a real thing. But then on top of that, he's got some fun stuff there. He's got the dwarven bazooka, which I absolutely love. It's a one-time use only weapon. When fired, it launches a devastating lightning bolt, like the spell, but with 12d6 lightning damage, right? And of course, there's a save for half or whatever it is. But and then there's a chest over on the other side, of course, that once opened is where you've got your keys and stuff in order to open to the doors and go into the next rooms. So it's got a monster, it's got some traps, and it's got unique magical items. And because it's a one-time item, it adds that extra drama in it of when do we use it? Is it an important enough of a time in order to use it? And of course, that creates at the table drama of, we know we've got the BFG. But do we use it against this monster or do we use it against something else?
Yeah,
which is
really
fantastic. So I think that was a unique part that stood out for this particular build. And of course, a dwarven bazooka, I think, is exactly something that you might find in the Guys and Gax dungeon.
Yes, and a froghemoth, right, from made famous in the expedition to the Barrier Peaks, which actually swallowed one of my friend's characters long ago, who was named Aragorn. Yes.
Okay. So this one was from Casper.
Casper
Hansen.
Excellent work.
Okay, next up.
Fantastic.
This is wonderful.
This is creepy.
They're all wonderful.
But yeah, this is creepy as F, if you know what I'm saying.
It really does another fabulous job. So he's got the various points of lights and stuff that appear and then vanish by the firelight and stuff. Saying your researchers were thorough, advice carefully selected, but what rang true in the light feels muffled and cryptic now. So the information that they gave you, now all of a sudden everything's kind of questionable. It throws, and if there's one thing that will add drama to a table, it's doubt.
Yes.
Is what I thought was true 30 seconds ago. Am I willing to stake my character's life on it? So the goal is to slay the rumor with truth, but certainties ebb away in the pall of dimness. Yes. And so this nameless horror that you're dealing with is just and the build itself just encapsulates it fantastically. It was truly a marvelous build to encapsulate the encounter. And again, also something that grasping at the straws of what is real is something that would certainly be within the realms of a wizard's lair.
Yes, absolutely.
And
it's got some guys and guys flair for sure. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done.
It does.
This is from Paul Dowdity.
Yes.
Dowdity.
Well
Okay.
done, Paul.
Okay.
Well done.
Up.
This one here is it's basically a trick room. So there's no monsters per se to fight directly, but there's a not a quest, a question. I weaken all men for hours each day. I show you strange visions while you are away. I take you by night, by day take you back. None suffer to have me, but do from my lack. And the answer is sleep. But you can't get out until you take a full rest. If you try to get out, that's when the problems are. So if you just go, oh, okay, it's sleep, and then you do a full rest, you're good to go through. It's a room that but you can't just say sleep. You've got to actually be willing to take the full rest. So if somebody says sleep and then they try to get out, they think they've got the wrong answer and they're stuck in there for that much longer because they didn't actually do the thing that they know.
We're spoiling guys and gals right now, but it's okay because this was, and again, the build is not as dramatic as a couple of the others, but we love the tale of it and just really enjoyed the idea of it. So
that's great. This is also from Stephen Rimmer, by the way.
Yeah, that's from Stephen as well.
Okay.
Another wonderful room. Of course, this encapsulates the interesting demon statue who has already been made a little famous in our materials. Little different, very much different from the second edition, but definitely a nod to it. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. And this one here, he's got there's it says a book floating above the altar. All you can think is that the rumors are true. A book thought to be lost and long forgotten, a book of immeasurable power. And at long last, here it is, almost within arm's reach. This is what you've been searching for, and now it's yours. But before you have the chance to claim your reward, a deep voice cuts through the eerie silence. We have been waiting for you. And then there's stuff that can happen as soon as you are you going to be answering questions, or is there a fight that you're going to have to do? It's a beautiful room where you can literally see what the goal is, but you're not going to get it until you handle whatever trials have been set before you. And essentially, the core of this is, are you worthy?
Yes.
And whether it might be a test of wits or brawn or magic or dexterity, or one for each of each person, because each person might get a page in the book that can apply to them, and so they get their own individualized test. There's so many different ways to run this, and of course the statue itself is just completely iconic. It just draws everybody in. For anyone who's got any grognard who knows that statue, is obviously going to be immediately taken into what I want to be a part of this.
Well, and what it Guys and Gax, as you know, Todd, because we've had some talks about it, is Guys and Gax is going to have this eccentric wizard has been collecting things and farting around for years, right? And so you're going to go into the tower and then beneath the tower and find a lot of very interesting and perhaps dangerous things as you try to figure out the mystery of what's going on in the Tomb of Guys and Gax. And
absolutely.
And these rooms fit in, right? They're just magnificent, right? So let us continue.
So, this one was from Joe Adams.
Joe, very nice.
And I know Joe, I think, is in the chat. And I was going to say, Paul had asked about like photography and lighting, and I thought, we should bring Joe on for Table Talks number 5.
We could do that.
Yeah, and the 3 of you guys could chat about
and Paul.
terrain.
We could grab Paul too.
Yeah, we could have like a 4-person.
Yeah,
that would be a great show. So.
Oh, wait! I just do a quick shout out. Joe has got his own podcast. He's got becoming. He did a successful Kickstarter, and he's going to have a show, The Dice Decide, where it's all built out terrain like this, and in the backdrop is just unbelievable. I met Joe, and you met Joe also at Gen Con.
Yeah, we love Joe.
Of course, we love Joe.
Yeah,
and just a genuine, actual professional in camera work. Literally, I mean, working with top tier A-list, celebrities in Hollywood. That's what I'm talking about when and he's got all that knowledge that he's putting to work into his Dice Decide show. So that's something everyone's really looking forward to seeing. I know I am. I backed that Kickstarter.
Me too. I'm really excited. Support your local artist, everyone.
As much as you can. Absolutely.
And it's not always writing, says Camera Mandy.
Right.
So, or writing or art,
Or art,
you know,
right?
yeah,
Yes,
video
there's-
is art.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
anyway. Fool's Gold.
Fool's Gold, and this is an area where it sort of feels like an area of Guys and Gact where slightly lost control, or the magic has gone out of control, or whatever it is. So you get in there and it's all darkness and stuff, but you can see the gold, but it's talking about, you hear all kinds of skittering and slithering and slobbering and vague shapes and silhouettes lumbering towards you, and you curse loudly as you realize you've fallen into a trap. And wrap your hand tightly around your weapon, prepared to fight your way out from the group of mimics you have before you. And honestly, if I was a wizard, I think the mimic is the perfect pet, because it could be any other kind of pet that you want it to be at any given time. So if there's some kind of crazy eccentric thing that would fit in there, this is another beautiful idea.
I see no reason why Guys and Gax wouldn't have had 10 or 12 mimics as pets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it would make you guess, do I want to reach for that pile of gold? Because it may not be a pile of gold. It might be just another one of the mimics,
Yes.
which is a wonderful way to protect your gold and have some exotic pets at the same time. So another brilliant room design,
Well, and
fantastically executed and concept as well.
Yes. And again, Todd, part of our judging was, how does this feel in terms of sort of being a little old school, right, as well as being new school? And that was some of the things that we loved when we did the judging for these finalists. What's next, Cameron?
That one was from Matt Hillman.
Oh, Matt, excellent job.
Excellent. The Funky Fungus Grotto. This has like a number of things. This feels like it's underneath. And this is just my feel on it. It feels like it's deep underneath the tower, possibly even the place that they're teleported to. But it could have something that walks to it. But in any event, there's just a number of things that are in here that he's got that are perfect for it. There's obviously the funky mushrooms themselves, which could be part of elixirs that might be being brewed, or exotic experiments. They might be ingredients for magical items that they're trying to produce. He's got a small cage in the northwest corner with bars bent, and two small fey creatures trying to fend off some of these living mushrooms that are going around. So there's some drama going on within the environs itself. If you help these fey creatures, do you piss off the mushrooms? Do you need the mushrooms for something? Do the fey creatures have something to offer? How long have they been fending this off? Depends on how they're going to handle you when you approach them. There's just a lot of exotic things that he's got going on here.
Great.
Beautifully built out with methods both natural and man-made in order to get to various aspects of the Funky Fungus Grotto. So it's a multi-encountered room. There's multiple encounters in a single room. It was very well thought out. And all of it having something to do, of course, why did Guys and Gax have the fey creatures? Why did he have something imprisoned?
Yes.
There's the, and now that the bars are bent or whatever, what happened there? Who bent the bars? There's a lot of unanswered questions, which are mysteries, and mysteries are perfect, of course, for a missing wizard.
Absolutely.
That's from Brad and Belinda Bennett.
Yes, wonderful.
And I believe this next one's Paul Hossletter.
Yes, it is.
So welcome to the Vault, testament that even among the eternal kings and their secret mountain prisons, time has no equal. So natives of the Blackbriar Bayou, and it makes me think Paul has played Skyrim, because Blackbriar is the mead. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
Paul might be in the chat. Is Paul in the chat?
He is.
What do you say, Paul? Skyrim?
Though as all tyrants, the Eternal King would eventually fall. Those who served him took their knowledge from the vault with them to the grave, and so the vault remains hidden until this day. Now scavengers, adventurers, and the swamp itself now race to reclaim the riches of the vault. So this could literally be right next to the grotto, by the way, because it's in some kind of a swamp, right? So those two rooms could actually be close together. Occupied with untold treasures, guarded by souls denied justice in life and eternal rest in death. So you've got the undead element that coming in, protecting, and the build is obviously magnificent. It's multi-level, so you've got a multi-tiered dungeon where you're coming up, and depending on the level of the party going through, if you're not all at the same level, you may not be able to help one another. That becomes a thing, right? The fighter who, if he's climbing and he's more about swords and stuff, may not have the ranged weapons to help somebody who's 2 levels below him on the climb, depending on where they're, you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot that's gone into this, and it's obviously a beautifully executed build. And hidden treasures and stuff, I mean, if I want to have somebody guard some of my certain treasures that are important to me, then having dead people guard it is the best, because they're not going to steal it for themselves.
They're
Right?
also
They're not
going to take a
spend the
nap.
money in town. Right. They're not going to take a nap, or they're permanently taking a nap. They're not going to spend the money themselves. You can't bribe them because they don't need the wealth for anything, and they're going to be there eternally. So it makes perfect sense in the concept of a dungeon for a wizard.
So we actually had, and those finalists, there were 5 total people who actually did the builds. Is that correct?
I think there was 7.
Was there 7? Oh, sorry, was it 7, Todd? Was it 5? I can't remember.
Yeah, right. I didn't remember seeing number 8. Did you show number 8?
I thought I showed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I showed all 8 of them.
Because you showed 2 from Stephen Rumor. So there might be somebody that didn't get shown. I can't remember. But.
No, because I thought Stephen had
2. Yeah. Oh, was there a 9th person?
Yes, because there were 2. The 2 from Stephen Rumor were shown. One was the sleep trap one, and then the other was the hourglass. Those were both from Stephen Rumor. So I don't know if we have another.
Did we have 9 rooms or 8 rooms?
I thought we only had 8 finalists. Did we not only have 8 finalists?
We had 8. We had 8. Yes, we had 8 rooms, but I think there were 7 finalists.
Correct.
Yes. And I showed all 8. I showed all 8.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So anyway,
great.
so all of us, Luke and Todd and I, we put our heads together, and we loved these rooms and the work that was done. And we're taking one of Stephen's, not both of them. We're going to take one of Stephen's, and we are going to have all of those finalists. We said it'd be at least 3 winners. We're actually going to have 6 winners. 7 winners from that. And we're going to take 7 rooms and work them into Guys and Gags. So, right, Todd, that was our decision. Yes.
That is a Solomonic-like decision. I think it's fantastic because everybody put a lot of thought into theirs. They all fit in perfectly. And I think they're all going to be a wonderful addition to the Tomb of Guys and Gags. So, and I couldn't be prouder of the people that took the time to come up with these adventures and then build them out and then write up the description and post them in the group. Did a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see them in the Tomb of Guys and Gags when it ships, because they're going to be worthy additions, to say the least.
And each one of them, I pulled up my thing. I'll put that back in, or I can't hear Todd. And each one of them will receive a copy of the Tomb of Guys and Gags adventure when it is produced as their prize for winning. And we'll make sure to take care of them. We'll keep track of that through, because it's 8 months from now.
It's fine. I got it. It's
but Mandy's
got
this. It's the
I have a process now.
It's the Underdelve and the undershirt and all of this stuff.
Yes.
Okay, camera Mandy, we're getting rid of this shirt.
So also hashtag.
As long as you're not underdressed.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to do the giveaway. Yes. The entry.
I've already started hashtag Tiamat in chat.
Hashtag Tiamat. You want to do this? If you would like to be
entered, and you get an extra entry.
Extra entries
to go into the Tiamat drawing that will be at some undisclosed time in the future.
Yes.
Because we're also going to put it up on Facebook.
Yes, we're going to put it up on Facebook Discord. And on the Discord. And Todd might even put it up in his place. And we'll see what we can do.
You're giving me a lot of things to keep track of.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun. So this, remember, those of you, we want to reward people who watch this stream. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of giveaways just directly. But this is giving you extra entries to win that marvelous, magnificent, massive. Ooh, that was a great alliteration right there. Tiamat, right? And I think it's a $400 value or something, right? $400.
LME 202. Yes, you can enter in all of the ways.
Yes, do it.
We're gonna have. So basically, you have 5,500 people who entered already to the contest just by pre-registering. And then all this is doing is giving you extra entries. And so you could probably go in with 5 or 6 entries by the end of it.
Oh, yes.
And that, we'll see what that does.
Yeah, give you extra odds.
Yes.
And in a contest as small as that, extra odds helps, right?
Definitely.
So it's really, really good.
I have that Tiamat model. It is incredibly well sculpted. It is absolutely worth the price. and to get that as a win would be a huge win at your table. My heart goes out to your players, but it'll be great right before the coronary. So
Yeah.
So let's let Todd go. We got a
Yep.
few housekeeping items, and then we'll go from there. Todd, as always, marvelous. Would you
thank you
be
so
up
much
for
having me
doing?
on.
Of course. It's our honor and our pleasure. But would you be up for doing that? We grab the other guys and do a little four-way discussion with Camera Mandy
Absolutely.
and talk
That'd be
about
fantastic.
lighting and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll look forward to that.
That'd be fantastic. I look forward to that.
We'll get that on the schedule for next month. That'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
So,
All right.
Okay.
all right, thank you all so much.
But you know what
Yeah.
we should just do? Was there any key questions we needed to ask Todd before we go? Did you catch any that we should have caught?
I think I caught most of them. I think we're good to go.
Okay,
So,
right.
and I mean, I'd have to go way back in the chat. So I'm not even sure if it's there anymore. But yeah,
we need to have Lawrence come join us on these mornings, and he can keep track of the chat because he will be much more fun in the chat than you. Look at Camera Mandy shaking her head.
I'm
No,
sorry. I
no,
love my brother.
no. I love my brother,
But
he has armpit hair. Armpit hair.
Okay. Thanks so much, Todd. I'll talk to you later.
Todd, have a wonderful day, my
Yeah.
friend. May all your builds be sticky.
Haha.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.
So wait, I want to make sure everybody knows this. If you
Yes.
haven't done this, if you're new to the stream and you never watched before, make sure you go to gooeycube.com/prizes and fill out that form, because that's how you get fulfilled when you win a prize. Because we do, and the chat can, those of you who've been around for a while, the chat can agree to this, and I'd appreciate the endorsement. We do a lot of giveaways on the stream. We want to reward people who come join us, and we do quite a few giveaways. So if you come join us and watch, you sometimes get stuff, which is a wonderful thing. But hopefully, we're also reasonably entertaining. Was Todd not marvelous?
I love Todd.
Yeah, magnificent.
And he like throws out like little bits of wisdom, like just off the top of his like one of them, he was like something about doubt. The best way to
Yes,
create
doubt.
drama at the table is doubt. And I'm like, yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, because you don't know, right? It's the
Yes.
mystery, it's the fear, it's the oh my gosh, could I die here, right?
Uh-huh.
And most people are attached to their characters, not everyone, but most. So
Okay. So
also one other thing before we do this, Cameron,
Yes.
would you also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel here, our Twitch channel, would you go down there and hit the subscribe button? That would be wonderful, and give us a little subscription, and tell your friends about us. That I think we're a pretty interesting little stream that we are growing continuously, which is kind of magnificent. All right, what you got, Camera Mandy? Because it's coming.
Okay,
Gen Con Indie 2024.
Yeah. Well, before I start talking about Gen Con,
Why do you have it up here then?
because I'm going to talk about Gooey Con that is happening
Oh.
at the same time.
The Gooey Con
just
inside
in
of Gen
case,
Con.
because not everyone can make it to Gen Con this year. So we are going to do a virtual Gooey Con, and we are currently looking for game masters who want to run virtual games. It's the same weekend as Gen Con, so that's August 1st through 4th. I think we're going to start games on Friday and do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so an email went out yesterday with information if you want to Game Master Press Online. Pam Willers is running it. And
Pam is magnificent.
absolutely. And so you can message them online we'll put her information in the den. We'll put up a post, or you can find on Discord.
Yes.
So anyway, so just want to put out that
Pam is also Zaareen in the Gloomport.
yes.
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 Ha ha.
And just Pam has done a ton of work on
Pam
the
is
Gloom Board.
magnificent. Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Also, Captain Shenanigans just gifted like a billion tears. So thank you, Captain Shenanigans.
Thank you, Captain.
Okay. Now I just want to walk through our Gen Con. I had sent out an email and I put it on Discord and I did a Facebook post with all this, but I kind of just want to walk through it really quickly. So if you want to find our events for Gen Con, you just type in Gooey Cube here.
Yep.
And you can see that we have, I think it's a total of like 64 events. However, something like, let's see here. So Shades of Loss here, that's being run Thursday at 9 a.m. You can see that there's 60 tickets available. So basically the same game gets run across the room at the same time.
the
So that's
same
why
time.
there's, so there'll be like 10 tables playing with 6 players each, Shades of Loss. And so we're going to have a very full, wonderful gaming weekend in our game room. But we are not doing TTRPGs at night. We are doing, except for on Friday, because we have the game show in the morning, we have these mega events that are happening. So here's the Great Gooey Dungeon game show. This is happening Friday at 10 a.m. from 10 a.m. to noon. And this one I imagine will always stay in a morning slot because it takes us a long time to get the dungeon set up. So we have to be the first slot in the morning so that way we can come early and get the dungeon set up. But we're putting together a wonderful lineup of celebrities who are going to be playing with us. We are going to be in a room that can house 1,000 people. I don't know if we'll get 1,000 people, but we're going to sure try. And we're going to be giving away some really massive prizes.
Lots of great giveaways, all kinds of prizes. And Dwarven Forge is sponsoring it again this year. So we are thankful. As I mentioned earlier, Nate, Stefano, and Anne are going to be joining us as guests. So we're very excited about having them. And I think it's great fun. It's great fun.
Absolutely. Next up is, let's see here. I'm looking for a tournament of perils and fortune. Here we go. A tournament of perils and fortuity. Okay, so this is the casino night type thing that we debuted at Genghis Khan. However,
lots of fun.
Yes. We cannot label it as such for like going forward. We don't want to get people.
Well, just the intimation that it's a casino, which it's not, right? But that can be an inflammatory word and have people, think, oh my gosh, is this a gambling thing? And it's none of those things. I mean, it has games of chance, but you can't lose any money. So it's just not the way it works.
Yeah, you pay an entry fee and that gets you into the game. And it's basically a tournament, a card tournament. Yep. So anyway, so going forward, it is going to be called a tournament of perils and fortuity. Basically it's all the card games that you can play with the deck of perilous fortuity. We have amazing game masters who are going to be stationed at each of the tables to teach you the games. You don't have to know anything to join. It's just going to be a good old time. And so that one is Thursday night at 7 p.m. So, and I will say this is like the most relaxing game.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You get to sit and play interesting games of chance from the world of Zyathé.
And we will have a grand prize. We'll have like 3 winners that are drawn. We'll have door prizes. We'll have 3 winners that are drawn randomly. And then we will have a winner for the person who manages to get the most chips. So next up, we have Gooey After Dark, Goo Done It. This is all orchestrated by our dear Corey, who's writing a mystery for the Hanatas. And it's a LARP light like mystery, basically. And so again, you don't have to know anything about Gooey Cube or any of the rules or anything like that to come play it. We will be in costume. And
indeed, I will be wearing the pants, cameraman.
You're gonna wear these pants. Come see Alphinius in these pants. He wants to be comfortable. But yes, so yeah, it's a really fun, like if you like solving puzzles, like it's
if you like, it's a murder mystery.
Yeah. Well, there's no murder.
Not a murder. It's a mystery.
But yes, it's murder mystery, like with clues and things that you can solve in a team element. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so next up, I'm just going to show a couple more things that are a little bit unique. The Wizard's Muse here. This is the Dungeon of Duinix, like re-themed. I have not gotten the post up for people who want to help us rename that. I'm sorry. I got a lot of things done this week, but that was not one of them. But yeah, we are going to be moving towards calling it something like Dungeon Divers or something that's just a bit more generic. And that's what that is.
Dungeon Drunkards.
Yes. We have premium Dungeon Drunkards.
Dungeon Dogs.
We have these things like Blood for the Con 3-part tracks. We also have 4-part tracks for the Dungeon of Duinix. These are a little bit more expensive. They take place in these luxury suites that are in the stadium.
Very
you get
nice.
the same game master the entire time and the same group of people playing.
Snacks.
Yeah, snacks.
Everyone loves snacks.
And you get a copy of the module to bring home with you.
Yes, you do.
So anything that's like a premium track, like those are going to be really great luxury experiences. We also have some one-offs that are happening. So like if you look at Shades of Lost Premium, those are also in the private suites as well. Just a lot quieter and a lot more relaxed than the big room with lots of people.
Plus you can sneak in booze. I didn't say that.
Stricken from the record.
They sell booze all over the damn place.
I know. We're gonna have cash bar at least the the
Goo
casino,
Dunnit.
or
and,
sorry.
And yeah, both of them, not
Yeah,
casino.
well, yeah.
Look, it's Lawrence. Come in, sir. Come
Oh my
in.
goodness.
Say hello.
What's up, everybody?
You got to walk over all the way.
I know, right?
I'm really thankful you have a shirt on that covers your armpits. Lean down. Look right there.
is it
Yes.
down here.
Yes. Say hello.
I heard Camera Manny talking smack about having me on stream, so I figured I'd show up.
A lot of smackage.
I'm gonna go get all those collector's editions of Blood for the Con all assembled for you.
Why don't you bring me one so I can show them?
Sure.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay. We are at 11:06. We are definitely.
All right, we're almost done because
Yeah.
there is a couple of other things we got to do. We got to go a little Kickstarter update real quick. I want to let everybody know about that. So can we transcend from this at this point?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So just so everybody knows, we have now surpassed $700,000 in the late backing. All right. So it's now you think, gosh, it's a long way to 800,000, but we actually think it's possible. We're doing some marketing. We're actually sending emails and doing a little advertising and seeing what that happens. But if you think about it, if we just got 100 people to late back of the venture in that campaign, that's almost a quarter of the way there in terms of getting to 800,000 and doing the sequel with Ed Greenwood. Also, the $725,000 stretch goal is for sure going to be the first installment of Narcoms, right? And Narcoms are the drugs, the illicit drugs in the world of Zyathé, and they are made by narcomists who is a subset of alchemists, and they do bad things to people, and they are many of them sort of controlled by the underworld, if you will, the syndicates, right? Because we wanted that to be in the world of Zyathé, and so we're very excited to actually have that be the next level of stretch goal. So tell some friends, right? I know a lot of you have already, and thank you for doing so. But tell some friends, because that first and foremost, this is the last chance you'll ever have, unless you buy it on eBay or something like that, or win one from us, or we happen to have a few left over that we sell so as a special deal at Gen Con or something like that. This will be the last chance you'll ever have to get to buy the limited edition, to receive the limited edition versions of Guys and Gags, because there'll be normal editions going forward after this. And so if folks want to get that, and of course get the amazing, ridiculous stretch goal haul. What did we figure out the stretch goal haul was worth in terms of, if we actually printed it and sold it, Lawrence? It was some. I'm looking at Lawrence off the camera. $400. Yeah, $460. So we sort of did the math, and even if we were really being tight, it'd be $370, $380. So somewhere between $360, $370, $380 at the low end and $450, $460 at the high end is the value of the printed stretch goal packages with the free digital files. So if you, first of all, you get the digital files all for free for all of that stuff as part of the stretch goals if you back at the adventure and campaign level. If you backed only at the adventure level, then you only get a certain more limited selection, but it's still a wonderful, wonderful amount of stretch goals. And then if you spend I think it's $150 or $160 to buy the printed versions, you get all of those in print, and it's just a phenomenal deal. So if you can tell some folks and let them know, perhaps we can get to $800,000, and perhaps we will have Ed Greenwood make a sequel with us to A Trouble with Rats. So onward to Camera Mandy. That's the Kickstarter update and what we're doing. So tell folks, put it out there, let people know. We're at $702,000 or $703,000 right now, and we still have 24% of the people in the Kickstarter to do their backer kit pledge manager, and they're all going to do add-ons. So, and then I want to show you this, and then we'll go with whatever Camera Mandy wants to do. This is, you can see it here. This is signed by Marvelous Andrea and Donnie and myself. And this is the special limited edition of Blood for the Con. And I'm kind of looking at the TV because I'm just trying to make sure I don't have the reflection not looking well there. So anyway, it is beautiful. It has a very important group on the front cover. And this is also very rare and very collectible. And many of you got this, and we are getting ready to start shipping them out now very, very soon. So this should be the last of the Kickstarter because most people have already been fulfilled. So Marcus, it is coming. Promise. Yes, Lawrence, we're sending to Marcus because he thinks he's being singled out because he's a hatter. Isn't that pretty? And look at that. Look at that, Camera Mandy.
Lovely.
That's ridiculous. Look at the size of that thing. I mean, that's quite an adventure. Right
I
there.
totally agree. It's
All right.
it's a thing of beauty.
All right. Is that it, Cameramendi? We'll get these poor people out of here who've been
Yeah.
stuck with us.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yes, and don't forget, excuse me, I do that all the time. I'm going backwards. The Underdelve, the Underdark, the Underdoom, the Undershirt, they're all together. Thank you for your love and your friendship and your kindnesses to us. Thank you for supporting this gooey thing we are doing, my friends. Thank you for all of the outpouring of dear kindnesses and touching words that so many of you sent to me to forward to Ms. Goo, to talk to Ms. Goo about with We Lost Grandpa Goo. It is so wonderful to have a community that is so uplifting and so kind and wonderful as you are. And that is truly what makes Gooey Cube special beyond anything else. Much love to you all. May you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you for joining us on this crazy stream. Next week, we're going to start going back to our little tour of Zyathé. And it's sort of a talking tour, so you'll have a lot of fun with that. We'll be discussing sort of why we do the things that we do. We'll talk about A-limbs and some of that kind of stuff, which we talked a little bit about a long time ago. You'll kind of like that, I think, if you're really nerdy. And of course, we'll have a lot more information on a lot of other things as we go forward. We didn't get to do social media today. We'll have another drawing and for the Tiamat, another extra entry drawing for the Tiamat. And that's about all I got, cameraman. You got anything else?
No.
Well, we're never going to wear this shirt again, but I wore it with pride today.
Okay.
Yes, it's very
Say
good.
goodbye to the shirt.
Goodbye, shirt. Goodbye, peoples. Thank you for your being here with us, even though it is a low-budget production. Cameramendi, you can sign us out. Switch to you. There she is. So cute.
I hate this. That's fine. May all your adventures be sticky.
Ha ha!